And we're back with more exciting adventures of the Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
I feel like I'm hoarse. Does that sound kind of hoarse? I feel a little hoarse.
Yeah, a little scratchy throat there.
Something going on. All right, so we've been gone a while. We've been busy, man. Busy. Work, life, love, careers, adventures, romance, all those kind of things.
Yep.
Only a fourth of those are true. You guess which fourth. Anyway, so we've been gone a while doing stuff. We're back. NFL season is the halfway point. Keep in mind, if you're new to the show, remember we only talk about the Cowboys and the Titans. We don't care about your other ratty ass teams. Halfway point of the NFL season for our two teams. They both have had 8 games. The 8th game was against each other. Titans 28, Cowboys 14. Your half-season assessment.
It's a cliche now, but we can actually quote Coach Parcells. You know, your record basically tells you what you are. They're 3-5. They look like a 3-5 team to me, particularly on offense.
Yeah.
Main things to come away from this season is we have to be concerned as Cowboy fans about the lack of progression from our quarterback. Dak Prescott does not seem to be growing as a quarterback, doesn't seem to be getting better. His accuracy is going the wrong way. The decision making, the hanging on to the ball too long. And most recently, we're seeing that Scott Linehan, for whatever reason, just won't give Zeke the ball. I don't understand what that's all about, but there seems to be a half-hearted commitment to the run, which doesn't seem to make that much sense to me. And then they fired their offensive line coach, and then promoted Mark Colombo, a former player of the Cowboys.
Used to play, right?
Yeah, he used to play with it. So they promoted him to the offensive line coach. And so to try to fix things, and they looked pretty anemic coming off this Cowboys-Titans game. That offensive line didn't seem to be lighting it up by any stretch.
Jarrell Casey, who, credit where credit due, is an all-pro lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, was in the backfield quite a few key times. Not every down necessarily, but it's a key moments he was able to get back there. So that doesn't bode well for your all-pro line there.
And this is a game that makes me think they're starting to understand what Jason Witten meant to them for 14 plus seasons. You know, having a kind of that emergency that kind of an emergency escape plan underneath, you know, somebody a quarterback could just dump underneath to, and now it's kind of you have a quarterback who's not very accurate, and he has to push the ball 20 yards or further, and he's not very accurate, and that's a problem. So you need more underneath throws and more success at that if you're going to not have a full commitment to the run game. I haven't talked about their defense, Cowboys defense. Needless to say, I think the defense is okay. There's some good players there, but you know, they're kind of spotty. But I think they're okay. That's about all I can say about that. But your Titans?
Did you give a letter grade? Did you? I missed.
I'll give a letter grade for this team. 3-5. I'd have to say, what, D plus overall?
Wow. Yeah. But yeah, D plus to me doesn't convey that there's much hope. So you know, here at the halfway point, if you were to say C plus, you know, you could spin it where like C plus, they've got this and that, and you could like build on that for the next 8 games. But
yeah,
D doesn't sound like we're talking losing record. We're thinking like 5-6 wins. You know, 7 might be a victory at this point. This is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, before the season, I predicted they would go 7-9.
Okay.
Now
that'd be a struggle.
Now it would be a struggle to get 7-9.
So we're 4-4 at Tennessee. I know it's bad form to say, well, we should have won certain games. We should have won the Buffalo game. I mean, the guy dropped a touchdown. He literally dropped it. And so that's a game I wish we could have had back. We should have went to overtime versus the Chargers. Baltimore destroyed us, and the Miami game was an absolute cluster. It was the game that went for 7.5 hours. So I wish we had that Buffalo game back and put us at 5-3. But anyway, we're 4-4. I have to agree with your statement. You are what your record says you are. You are what you are, and we are a 4-4 team. We've had moments of good. We beat Tennessee. I mean, we beat Houston and Jacksonville when Ball Rice probably shouldn't have. We pulled out 2 squeakers. We pulled out another squeaker against Philly. We probably shouldn't have. And then we lost a squeaker. The Chargers lost a squeaker to the Bills, and we got shellacked by the Baltimore. The Baltimore game is the one that I don't really understand. 21-0. I don't even know. So, but I'll pick up something. Zeke is the man in Dallas, and they're not feeding him and making him the man. They're like Dak is trying to be, and I'm on record with this show.
Mm-hmm.
My fear was that Dak is David Gerard, 2.0. Shows you a really great season, but it was really because you could just run the ball so much, so effectively that it hides any shortcomings. Dallas isn't really getting the most mileage that we think as fans they could get out of Zeke. Look at Todd Gurley and what he means to the Rams. They should be having similar times.
Right.
That the Rams are having. Think if Zeke was in the Rams. Think if Zeke was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
How much damage he would do. Anyway, so Tennessee has a similar situation that we lost Delanie Walker. Delanie Walker was that guy that would. You said Jason Witten. They really miss Jason Witten.
Yeah.
They don't have that guy to sort of willpower you over obstacles. Tennessee lost their tight end, Delanie Walker, the first game of the year, and we lost our Jason Witten. And so we floundered for these first 8 games, I think, because we haven't had our Jason Witten. What I see recently is Dion Lewis, I think, is becoming that guy. We're starting to get that guy that's sort of like, he's a go-to. It's a tough situation. We got to have that one dependable player. Dion Lewis has really stepped up, the running back that we got from the Patriots. So I think you're right. They're Cowboys don't have that go-to guy.
No.
And for whatever reason, they're not embracing Zeke as that guy. Tennessee lost their guy, and maybe they're starting to find it. And that's the reason why I think it's the difference between us and Tennessee and Dallas, and that's the reason why we won that game, is we have found a guy, and you guys haven't. But that's a completely, I'm not an X's and O's theorist by any stretch of imagination. That's more of almost an emotional observation. So that's
yeah.
I think we're 4-4 because we found that guy in Dion Lewis.
Did you give a grade?
I would say so. The biggest disappointment to me is Vrabel. I mean, and I know he's a rookie head coach, but I know he's pulled out some gutty coaching moves and stuff. But when we were at one point we were like 3-1. I think we were 3-1 at one point.
Yeah,
at that point we were 3-1. People were like, "Man, this is Coach of the Year candidate." Dude, he's done some boneheaded stuff too. My assessment out on him. I got an incomplete grade for him. I put his honestly versus my expectation. The fact that we won a playoff game, I'm in that B- C+ range for Tennessee right now. They should be 5-2 at this point. I mean, 6-2 at this point, or 7-1 even.
Yeah.
And they haven't delivered. So the fact that my expectation was more like 6 wins at the halfway mark, and they're at 4 wins. I don't know how I can put them anything better than B- at best, C+.
Yeah.
I think I'm generous as they say B-.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say C+ Titans. The thing that bothers me the most, to piggyback on what you just said, bothers me most about the Titans is once again, we've made a head coach change. And just overall in how we're playing and where we are record-wise, we're not really seeing the benefit of, hey, new leader, okay, a lot of this stuff that this franchise, the way the team has played, the same kind of mistakes, the same kind of the way we lose games, it just feels like we just changed the leader, but the script remains the same.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me the most. It's like, well, I don't know why that is, because before Mariota, it was Jake Locker. Well, he's long since gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how can we keep having the same kind of things happen there? And I haven't quite put my finger on what it is, but if Vrabel can tap into that and eventually kind of get these guys to be a little more tough-minded and get them to break out of this, great. That's what I hope to see.
Fisher was famous for run the ball, play tough defense, run the ball, keep it close, win at the end. That was Fisher's MO.
Right.
Damn near got a Super Bowl. This close to the Super Bowl with that philosophy. But when we went to Matt Munchak and even the Wisenhunt and then to
Vrabel now?
Vrabel, the guy, God dang it, what's his name? Malarkey to Vrabel.
Oh, yeah, Malarkey, yeah.
With all those four coaches since Fisher, with each one came this promise of a new modern offensive approach.
Right.
And we never have been delivered it. And I'm still waiting for it. I don't feel like they played a good game today, but I can't tell you if it felt like there was some sort of step forward on this modern offensive approach. I mean, Fisher was ground and pound and throw up some basic passing packages, and I mean we ran some screens pretty well tonight, but that's really about other than that. That's about it. It's about it, really. So I don't know. I'm still waiting for us to get into that New Orleans Saints, LA Rams style of offense, even if you can't pull it off like they do. And I'm not saying we can, because I mean those guys are definitely special. Drew Brees is special. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay is special. So I'm not trying to directly compare, but when are we going to even? I don't see it. The modern offensive approach. Why isn't Mariota in the shotgun more often?
Right.
And we're just back there and delivering.
And of course, this game is an example. Your running backs had in the first quarter, weren't they responsible for both fumbles?
I think they were on Mariota. They were technically on Mariota. The one was on Mariota, but he got blindsided by the right tackle that just whiffed.
Okay.
And then the other one was a bad handoff exchange to
Yeah, that's right.
So it's hard to put the one on him because, I mean, the right tackle just...
Well, it just didn't seem like they even bothered to try to run much tonight. Certainly after the first quarter. So you wouldn't say it's a balanced offense.
Right.
So yeah, I'm concerned about that. Mariota being healthy, but him running, he's a gutsy guy. So you admire him for running like he does to pick up first downs. At the same time, you're like, I don't know if this is the smartest thing to do with your injury history to keep running around. You need to learn to be like old Danny White used to be able to throw that ball away and live another day. And he needs to kind of adopt some of that. Pick your battles when you run.
Yeah, I don't. Him running and stuff, I mean, he got that one injury against Jacksonville that one year. But other than that, he's been pretty healthy on the run for the most part. That really hasn't been why he's been injured, minus the Jacksonville incident. I think my overall frustration, and I know I'm repeating myself, is, and the same frustration I have with Dallas. You have certain talent levels on your team. I don't feel like you're using them appropriately. You've got Dak in this, at one time was the best line off in NFL. I don't know if that's the case anymore. And you have Cooper, and you have Hearn and Beasley, and you've got Zeke, who's arguably, if he's not the best back in the NFL, he's top 3.
Sure.
Why are we not just running and gunning, wheeling and dealing like the Saints, the Rams, like Green Bay, so on and so forth. Why is that not happening?
Yeah.
I don't feel it's personnel. Tennessee, I don't think we have the wideouts that Dallas does. So I don't know that we have the receivers that I could put in that category with any of the teams I mentioned. But why are we even? It doesn't even feel like we're trying.
Yeah, part of the salary cap era has kind of diluted talent, so people can't have like second stringers basically be so good that they would start other teams. You see that less and less now in the
That only
NFL.
happens if you have a really good draft pick that gets good quick.
You see that less and less in the NFL now. So now you got these guys who are starting, but on some teams they probably wouldn't start on others. So there's still some of that goes on. But on the flip side, I think these coaches, I think Jason Garrett and his staff are guilty of this. Tennessee, I'm starting to think there's a little bit of that going on too. And it's this. They'll watch practice and they'll see how they drafted them and that scouting report. Oh, and they practice so well. But then when the game actually goes down, they don't see the same. It doesn't translate.
Mm-hmm.
There are players that know how to practice and in that environment excel.
Mm-hmm.
But in a game, they don't perform. And I remember them talking about Bill Bates, the old Cowboys player, how if you saw him practice, you weren't impressed by him at all. He was the total opposite.
Yeah.
But they put him in a game, and he was just like, but the tape says you're not this fast. There's no reason you were able to catch this guy. He's like a 4.4, speed. How did he catch this guy? And there you have to find those kind of guys that they may not practice well, but if they play well, and that's what you need to look for. And I don't think there's enough of that going on in the league. I think certainly the Garrett staff, they're always going on, but they did this on practice. I think they're talking about that Dak. Well, he's making all the throws in practice. Like, that doesn't mean he's your franchise guy. You need to be a little more open-minded there. Anyway.
Well, McNair was never noted for his amazing workouts in practice. And Fisher, well, you can look it up. Fisher learned that he had to let McNair take naps on game day. So if McNair could get a nap in before game day, he knew he was gonna have a good day. It doesn't always tell the whole story.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know. And I railed about it all last year. I've been griping about it ever since Fisher was there. This is damn near a 10-year fucking issue for me. That I've been bitching about Tennessee not running a modern offense. We brought in Vrabel and the guy from the Rams to deliver. I ain't seen it yet. I'm glad we just beat the Cowboys tonight. I saw some positive trend signs, but I want to see this cutting edge. Yes. Show me a play that. Oh, that's a new trend. I want to hear the announcer say, "Well, I've never seen that play before." I want to hear. Oh. How come you never hear about something invented? Think about it. You never hear an announcer go, "Shit, I've never seen that thing before." Is that not possible? Is it not possible for the Scott Linehan or whatever his name is?
Right.
Is there a new play to design?
Wow, the Titans have just unveiled this brand new thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How come? Well, all the stuff we have now, somebody invented.
Right.
Is nobody inventing something now?
Well, I would just say this. I know what you mean. I would just like to see the Titans and the Cowboys, whatever they do, you're able to get to the point where you're good enough to impose your will. Whether you have a painfully basic offense or a really elaborate scheme, it doesn't matter. If you're able to just come out and just dominate and impose that. So this is what we do, And more times than not, you will not be able to stop us.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get to that place.
Right.
Just this. Well, let's try this. Oh, it didn't work, huh? All right, well, let's try that. You get tired of feeling like you have a coordinator who's just guessing. Well, I don't, Marcus. I don't know. Try a halfback pass. I don't know.
You sound like the mall guy from South Park. Huh? What? Yeah. I guess with the sausage and cheese. Huh? Remember that episode?
Exactly.
All right,
Yes.
vague South Park reference. Now it tells us we gotta get into this show. All right, so I think our expectations for the season for both teams were a little higher than where they are. I feel like Tennessee has the better chance to improve in the second half. I'm not as optimistic for the Cowboys, but let's hope we're wrong. Let's hope we're wrong, and they turn it around.
Be nice. I think the Titans have the better shot at postseason. I think the Cowboys are sadly, I think they're done.
Bummer, mother bummer. Zeke gets older every year. Top 3 back, and every year you're adding another year to his age.
What's his little famous feed me?
They ain't listening.
They're not listening. So,
And speaking of not listening, I do.